The second $1,200 stimulus check and your frequently asked questions answered. Plus, for those of you who are interested, a recap of my phone conversation with an IRS agent that happened this morning. Hey everyone, Matt here, back for another video. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. All right, now that you're subscribed, we can continue. I'll give you a quick update on the second round of stimulus checks. As of this evening, Wednesday, July 29th. And I have to say, there's not a whole lot of updates other than the fact that Congress is arguing and getting nowhere. As I announced the other day, Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin came out and said he is confident that they would have an agreement by July 31st. Guess what? That's in 2 days. It's not happening, guys. Sorry to tell you, it's just not happening. But the time is ticking. We have through next Friday, August 7th, for them to get an agreement together and present it to the president, because if they don't do it by then, they go on recess for a month and they won't be back until September. So there we go, the American people hanging again, once again. So time's ticking, guys. I'm watching it closely and I'll give you the updates as soon as we get them. All right. Let's talk about some of these frequently asked questions that I continue to get down in the comments section. So I really hope these people that are asking these questions are watching this video and continue watching so I can answer your questions. Question number one would be, how are we going to get paid? You're going to get paid in the same method in which you were paid on the first check. If you receive Social Security, retirement, disability, survivors, SSI, VA beneficiaries, our railroad retirees, if you get direct deposits into your bank account each month, because that's how you receive your benefits, that's exactly how you're going to receive your second stimulus check, most likely. That's what we are thinking. We do not have guidance on this quite yet, but that's what we're anticipating. Another common question: do we need to fill out the non-filer tool once again? I filled it out one other time. These are people asking this. I filled out the non-filer tool for the first one. Do I need to fill it out again? My assumption would be no. The reason for that is they already have your information. You shouldn't need to fill it out again. If you do, the IRS has major issues. I mean, if we need to go through these jump through hoops again, they have some major problems, which we already know they have major problems. Payees. Will I get a check if I have a payee? If you receive the first check, I anticipate you'll also get the second check. So we anticipate, sure, probably, most likely. The next check, when's it coming? I don't know. I wish I could tell you that. Everybody, I shouldn't say everybody. Again, Treasury Secretary Mnuchin, he is confident that those checks will start going out in August. Well, if that's the case, they need to get a move on and get this thing agreed upon, written up, over to the president so he can sign it. Based on the commentary that President Trump is making, it sounds to me like he's basically ready to sign anything that comes to his desk. He's eager to sign this thing, believe it or not, whether you love or hate the guy. I don't take sides. I'm just saying, from what I've been observing from him, he's it sounds to me like he's ready to sign something. So when they get it to him, it sounds like he's going to slap his signature on there and then it's going to be good to go. So that's exciting. Next question. I receive SSI. I did not receive the first stimulus check. Will I get the second one? My answer to that is I don't know, because I don't know your situation. Were you claimed as a dependent? If so, you will not get the first stimulus check, because that's how it was. That's how it was written. Will you get the second stimulus check? As I've been talking about in my other videos, unfortunately, if you were claimed as a dependent, the payment won't go to you. It's going to go to the person who claimed you as the dependent. So I hope that makes sense. Again, if you didn't receive your payment, you receive SSI, or fill in the blank, SSI, SSDI, retirement, any of those that I've been naming. If you receive any of those and you have not received your payment and you were not claimed as a dependent, will you get the second stimulus payment? Again, I don't know that because I don't know your exact situation. I guess I would be wondering, where's your first payment? And again, I'll get into that in just a few minutes here when I start talking about my conversation with the IRS agent this morning. That was a waste of time. Side note, by the way. But I'll be talking about that. If you haven't got your payment yet, it could be for a variety of reasons, one of which it just possibly could not have been processed quite yet. So that's one option as of right now. So these are a lot of the commonly asked questions that I'm seeing down in the comments section right now. Again, I said this before, I'll say it again. With this, the HEALS Act that's being proposed, actually, and the HEROES Act that was pushed through to the Senate, I don't know, a couple months ago. So right now they have the HEROES Act and the HEALS Act. HEROES Act is the Democrats' proposal. HEALS Act is the Republicans' proposal. And they're, very different plans, but basically they need to come together to come up with a plan, a proposal that's somewhere in the middle of both of those plans that both parties can agree on and kind of push through to the president with bipartisan support. That's what they need to do. But in the HEALS Act, they were saying that dependents would be eligible for this check. And now with that, or what I should say is dependents of any age. So adult dependents as well. But like I said this before, and I think there's a lot of confusion about this still. And again, one real quick thing, all of this is up for negotiation. All of this can still change. But here's the deal. For adult dependents, if you are claimed as a dependent, as far as I understand it, it's not you that would be receiving the payment, but rather the person that claimed you as the dependent would be the one who gets the payment, the stimulus check. Does that make sense? I hope so. So again, this is all subject to change. It could all be negotiated differently. So we will continue watching it. I'm watching it closely. I'm watching it all day. I mean, it's like all I do these days. I respond to YouTube comments and I watch the boring news. Actually, side note, this morning I pulled up a webcam or like a webcast or whatever of Senate hearings. Holy crap, guys, don't do that. For your own health, don't do that. It was the most boring thing I've ever experienced. People that talk way too slow and there's way too many awkward, long pauses. Yeah, that was bad. Bad news. I only did that for about 15 minutes and I thought, wow, this is awful. All right, let's get into my phone conversation that I had with an IRS agent this morning. I'll try to get through this because I know this video is probably getting a little bit long, so I want to whip through this a little bit quickly. So this morning, being the advocate that I am for all of you, I called the IRS. I called that 1-800 number. If you want it, I'll give it to you. I mean, honestly, you're just going to waste your time. The number is 1-800-919-9835. Maybe I can give it to you again later if I remember. Anyway, I called the IRS this morning because I wanted to talk to an agent. I wanted to hear it from them. I wanted to hear it right from the horse's mouth. What's the deal with the backup on payments? So I sat on hold for about 50 minutes, which, yeah, 50 minutes. It wasn't all that long. They had some awful music. It made me really depressed. And I thought, oh, this is why they're just prepping me for the bad news. So awful music. So then finally, an agent picked up, and I actually recorded the conversation. I recorded the conversation on this here voice recorder, but after a long conversation with Corey, going back and forth, we decided I'm not going to play it. The reason for that is I don't know what the rules are, and I want to be compliant with all the rules, so I would love to play that conversation for you. It's interesting. I played it for Corey, and we thought, wow, this is eye-opening. I wish I could play it for you, but we just decided we're just going to play it on the safe side, and we're not going to play it. But I did record it. I asked the guy if I could record it, and he said yes. So he picked up the phone, and after about 30 seconds of going through, giving me his ID number, telling me that he cannot answer specific questions, do not give him my social security number, do not give him my personal information. He can only answer very general questions. So that was a really great way to start the conversation. And my first thing that I said to him was, I said, hey, I'm calling on the behalf of two of my friends. I have two friends. One friend receives SSI and has one dependent. Friend number 2 receives SSDI, no dependents. The reason I chose that setup is because I figured a lot of you are kind of in these situations. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to create a couple situations that look out for all my guys here. Well, guys and gals, girls, right? All of my friends here. I thought I want to throw a situation out that encompasses many of you. So I said, let's go back to person number 1. I said, friend number 1, like I said, SSI, one dependent, no payments. Not the $1,200, not the $500. What's going on? And he had a very scripted routine, which was the IRS is backed up, we're backlogged because we were shut down for a few months because of the virus. We're backed up and we're processing payments. We're still processing payments. That was his reply. I thought, that's great. I said, how about the dependent payment? He said, I wish I could play this part for you. God, it was so funny. He said, I'm trying to figure out what you mean by dependent payment. I said the dependent payment for the stimulus check. And he said, oh, the dependent payment. Do you mean the $500? He didn't even know what I meant when I said dependent payment. He had no clue. He was lost. And I said, yes, the dependent payment, the $500, where is it? And he said, oh, that should have arrived with the stimulus check, with the $1,200. I said it didn't arrive. I said the $1,200 didn't even arrive. And he said, oh, well, that's because the IRS has been shut down for a couple months because of the virus, and we're backlogged processing these requests. Again, he rehearsed his scripted response once again. Sorry, I thought, okay, well, whatever. I said, there was a statement out a couple weeks ago from the IRS saying that these dependent payments would be distributed in late July. Here we are, late July. It's almost the end. When are we getting it? And he said, well, I actually think that date is wrong. It needs to be updated. That's no longer relevant. It's not happening. So again, we're getting mixed answers. We're getting mixed replies here on the dependent payments. We were told they were supposed to be coming the end of July. Here we are sitting in late July, and as far as I know, a lot of you are still leaving comments down below asking, where are my dependent payments? So that's what we get. Again, I just want to say, the guy was really nice. He just literally had no answers, 0 answers. It was a complete waste of an hour of my life sitting on hold and talking to this. But I'm glad that I called because it gave me a little bit of perspective on all of you who have been talking to these people. So I'll get into person number 2 here, but in my opinion, don't waste your time calling the IRS. Total waste of time. Unless you were fraudulently claimed as a dependent or somebody stole your ID, then I do think you should call the IRS because they're the ones who can handle that situation and hopefully reverse that. So in that situation, I would say call the IRS. Otherwise, if you're wondering where your stimulus payment is, don't waste your time. It's honestly just a waste of time. All right, so person number 2, I said, all right, my friend number 2, they receive SSDI, no dependents, no payment. Where's their payment? Once again, he rehearsed his scripted routine. The IRS has been closed down for several months because of the virus. We are backlogged and we're processing payments. That's it. That's all he could tell me. That's it. So that's all the information that was given. It was a totally worthless call, waste of time. But at least at the same time, I got to hear what all of you are hearing. So from now on, I'm not going to recommend calling the IRS anymore simply because you're not going to get any answers. They can't take personal information according to this person that I spoke to. But again, I just want to say, if your identity was stolen or someone claimed you as a dependent fraudulently, then I would say call the IRS and connect with an agent, and they can help possibly maybe work through that situation. Again, if you want that number, 1-800-919-9835. All right, I hope this video helps. I know it's probably long. I have no idea what we're sitting at for minutes right now, but I apologize for the length of this video, but I talked about this video earlier, the conversation with the IRS. I just still wish I could play that for you because it would be eye-opening if you could actually hear the responses and just the absolute ignorance that this person had. Again, he was a really nice guy. He just literally had no clue what was going on. I actually said this to Corey, which I thought was funny. I literally could have dialed any phone number. I could have just typed in my phone, just hit the keys, 10 numbers, push send. Any person that answers the phone could have given me the same replies that this guy did. Any person in the world could have gave me this same helpful information. Helpful being, not helpful. Anyway, have a great evening, everybody. And hopefully we'll get some more information tomorrow, Thursday. I'll be watching it again closely. Once we get some information, trust me, I'll be right here, and I'll be reporting that information to you. Have a great night.